KD reportedly wants out of Brooklyn. This is totally shaking up the dynamic of the free agency of the NBA. The superstar forward, who turns 34 in late September, has 4 years and roughly $192.5 million remaining on his current contract. But he's ready to hit the road. Let's settle the rumors and take a look at the several teams who are closing in to score a deal with Kevin Durant. Although any of the other 29 NBA teams would love to acquire KD, this presentation will focus on the franchises that pose the main victors of the bidding war. Therefore, the league's rebuilders: Orlando, Houston, Detroit, Indiana, now San Antonio, shouldn't bother concerning themselves with writing up a contract or even discussing one. In that regard, the same goes for teams that are unfailingly stuck in the murky middle like Sacramento or Washington. Woes of the Nets. The irony of life takes place everywhere, and it's seen in the case of the Nets today. When Kyrie Irving exercised his player option to remain in Brooklyn for the 2022-23 NBA season, Shams Charania of The Athletic reported Irving picked it up not only because it guaranteed him a cool $36.5 million for next season, but also because he wanted to fulfill his 4-year commitment to the Nets and Kevin Durant. Irony enters stage left, and as it turns out, Irving needn't have worried about holding up his end of what remains of that bargain because now there's nothing left to hold up. KD, who with all due respect to Julius Irving, Jason Kidd, and Lucius Harris, became the greatest player in the Nets franchise history the moment he put on a Nets uniform, has made it known that he intends to leave Brooklyn and advance towards the next bigger, better deal. Durant went directly to owner Joe Tsai and requested a trade, and it happened 3 years to the day after KD and Irving first decided to take their talents to Brooklyn. Durant's demand represents the franchise's worst fears. It instantly and utterly turned the whole NBA on its head. And the timing was bewildering because just 3 hours before the official start of the NBA's 2022 free agency period, the entire league swung its attention to a player who can't reach free agency until the summer of 2026. The Ringer reminded its viewers that stars of Durant's caliber rarely become available. Even at age 33, with an Achilles rupture in his rear view and just under 41,000 total minutes on his odometer, he's one of the 5 best players on the planet. There's not opposition to the fact that he's an MVP caliber scorer and offensive engine who also happens to be almost 7 feet and capable of playing both point guard and center on a championship-level team. If the going rate for DeJounte Murray, a very nice one-time All-Star, is 2 unprotected first-round picks, another protected first, and a pick swap, then the mind positively reels at what kind of return Marks wants the Nets to offer. It's been reported that the Nets' Sean Marks is looking for a king's ransom for the return of Kevin Durant. Here's the 2 best deals on Durant's wish list. Shortly after Durant requested a trade from the Nets, the who's who of NBA reporters shared the news of Durant's desired destinations. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski focused in on the top 2 prospect teams on KD's reported wish list. The league insider also shed light on how the Nets will approach bargaining with Durant's trade deal. Sources told ESPN that Phoenix and Miami are among 2 of the teams that Kevin Durant has on his wish list. But the Nets plan to move Durant where they can get the best possible deal. With 4 years on his contract, there's no shortage of teams willing to unload assets for Durant. Keep in mind that both the Suns and Heat are coming off a 2021-2022 season in which they were the number 1 seed in their respective conference. Without a doubt, KD would make either team the odds-on favorite to win the NBA championship next season, and that his union with either of those teams would have the potential to best the Golden State Warriors. However, according to insiders, it seems that acquiring Durant from the Nets would require any interested team to give up a king's ransom and also do some major financial rearranging. But with the 2-time Finals MVP seemingly available, still within his prime, and still aging gracefully on the court, fans can expect several teams to offer KD gorgeous contracts. So aside from KD's wish list, it all boils down to which team can make the most intriguing offer to the Nets. Here's the 5 most interesting trade packages for KD. The Phoenix Suns and Miami Heat were the 2 teams initially reported to be on the wish list of Kevin Durant as he seeks a trade from the Brooklyn Nets. Those 2 teams might be more motivated than most to offer a strong package for Durant given his preference to end up there. But other teams might be able to assemble a more attractive package and convince Durant to happily play there. Phoenix Suns. The trade is Kevin Durant for DeAndre Ayton, Mikal Bridges, 3 first-round picks, and 2 first-round swaps. Experts say that at a starting point for an offer, a pair of 25 and under two-way difference makers who've already played pivotal roles on a finals team is pretty good. Then the big plus, Phoenix is on KD's wish list. Durant has had a strong bond with Suns coach Monty Williams as he was the associate head coach of the Oklahoma City Thunder in 2015-2016. Durant was seen fighting back his tears when Williams' wife Ingrid was killed in a car accident in 2016, and he was quoted saying, "I just love Coach Monty so much, man." And throughout the recent years, they've been very vocal supporters of each other. Then there would no doubt be some awesome on-court chemistry with a Chris Paul-Kevin Durant partnership. Durant's silkiness, athleticism, and size would perfectly complement Paul's playmaking skills. KD clearly sees the allure of joining the Suns, as he reportedly named Phoenix as one of his preferred destinations, and the best part is, the Suns have the assets to make a deal happen. The Suns somewhat spoiled their relationship with free agent center DeAndre Ayton by failing to offer him a 5-year, $172.5 million max extension in October. But that has opened up an opportunity for Phoenix nonetheless. Now that Ayton is a restricted free agent, Phoenix could use him as a centerpiece in a sign and trade for Durant. Miami Heat. According to reports, Durant only wants to play for a Miami team with Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, and Kyle Lowry. Sports analyst Sam Amick of The Athletic reported that this request from KD poses a significant obstacle for Miami to acquire Durant. Problem is, it's pretty much impossible for the Heat to trade for Durant without giving up Butler, Adebayo, or Lowry. Heat fans thought of a trade centered on Lowry, Tyler Herro, and draft picks to pair Durant with Butler and Adebayo. Lowry is due to earn $28.33 million next season, which would help match salaries for Durant, who will earn $44 million next season. Herro is due for an extension, but that wouldn't kick in until the 2023-24 season. So Miami has to give up Lowry. The Heat aren't trading Butler or Adebayo for Durant. It appears that Durant wants to assemble a super squad similar to the events that took place in 2016 with the Golden State Warriors. 2 days before Independence Day, sports writer Brian Windhorst of ESPN announced that the Brooklyn Nets aren't exactly interested in the Suns' offer for Durant. So perhaps the Heat have some time to persuade Durant that he'd be happy joining a starting lineup of Gabe Vincent, Victor Oladipo, Jimmy Butler, and Bam Adebayo. Regardless, the plot thickens. The bidding is getting vicious, and the Toronto Raptors are narrowing in to capture big game. Toronto Raptors. The trade deal proposed comes with variants of these options: Durant for Scotty Barnes, OG Anunoby, and Gary Trent Jr., or Pascal Siakam and Anunoby, plus multiple first-round picks and multiple swaps. Sports writer Adrian Wojnarowski chimed in stating, "I think a team that's lurking and is going to lurk in this is Toronto. They have all the kinds of pieces that you would want, and they're picks to do a deal for Kevin Durant." Other teams honing in on locking a deal with Durant are the Memphis Grizzlies and the Boston Celtics. Memphis is offering trades of Durant for Jaylen Brown, Grant Williams, Daniel Theis, or as many picks and swaps as is necessary to wipe clean the taste of the Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce trade. As for Boston, they're putting the following on the table: Durant for Jaren Jackson Jr., Dillon Brooks, 3 future firsts, at least 2 unprotected, and 3 swaps. What trades do you favor? Sound off in the comment section below.